Have you ever wanted to be this guy, but for whatever reason you just don't own Fallout New Vegas? It's like $12, you bum. It's like $10, you idiot. It's like $4, you idiot. It's like $22.59, you idiot. Well, I have you covered. So in today's episode of Loadout, we get to patrol the Mojave in style. So let's see what we're working with. So we have our primaries, which are going to be either the Breaker 12 gauge or the Deadeye. We're actually going off the loot table of a NCR veteran ranger for our weapons today. Some of the main guns that NCR vets tend to have are either a brush gun, which is our equivalent to the Deadeye, is a medium pen lever action gun found in the Borderline Justice Warbond with 8 rounds and 60 spare. It also comes with a 4x scope initially, but for our loadout I've decided that irons makes more sense. Or the Riot shotgun, the Breaker 12 gauge, which is a light pen automatic shotgun in the original Helldivers mobilized warbond. I was just using the foregrip and then whatever choke that I had unlocked at that point. It really doesn't matter that much. It has 16 rounds and has 7 spare magazines with it. Then for our secondary, since NCR Rangers tend to either have a Ranger Sequoia or a 4x4 revolver, we get to use the Senator, which we've talked about before on the series. It has heavy pen and it's a revolver. I mean, like, what else am I supposed to say? It kills people? Yeah, I sure hope it does. Then for your grenades, since NCR vets don't really carry grenades, you can just bring whatever you want. I decided to go with frags just because they feel like they make the most sense since they are in New Vegas. That's right, we'll be using the anti-material rifle for our stratagem weapon. Though it's not as powerful as it is in Vegas, it is definitely more of a sit-back kind of playstyle, but it's very powerful against these more elite enemies. For example, folks, chargers, it's okay against tripods, it's good against tripods, and actually not that bad against flesh beasts. It has 7+8 rounds in the chamber, and then it has 6 spare magazines. Though you do have to tend to be a little careful about your ammo because the ammo economy on it is pretty bad. It's not like autocannon bad, but it's still pretty bad. Luckily the cooldown time is kind of short, so you can usually just call in another one, or you might be able to find another one that's just laying around on the map. Then for our second stratagem, we have an Eagle airstrike to represent the bombing run that the boomers do on Hoover Dam when you side with them. Now for your last 2 stratagems, since there isn't really any heavy ordnance that your courier can call in, other than the nuke from Lonesome Road, but I totally just now remembered about it, and I just completely blanked upon it. I mean, you could just use the 500. I decided to model these last 2 stratagems off of companions, since you would typically have either one of these guys or both of these guys when you're doing a NCR run, which is kind of like what this build's, you know, model off of. If you can't tell, I mean, I hope you can. Damn. We have the last 5 guard dog to represent our iBot companion Edie, which though lasers work a little differently between New Vegas and Helldivers. I'd say they are, you know, they're pretty similar. It's a floating thing that shoots lasers right next to you. One's got cool cowboy music, the other one doesn't. The guard dog does light pen and a continuous beam and lights enemies on fire. It has very little downtime compared to the other guard dogs. Then for our final stratagem has a wild card one, as though I did initially have the orbital precision strike here to represent a Lucid Sea Finder, and since this build is mostly based off of a NCR run where you probably wouldn't activate Archimedes, I decided that it didn't really make that much sense to be using the Lucid Sea Finder in this context. I decided that, you know what, we're going to use the autocannon sentry to represent Boone. I mean, they look very similar. They're both bald. They both have very, very blunt personalities, and both can make people explode from miles away. For the autocannon stats, it fires 3 autocannon rounds in a short burst, doing the first level anti-tank damage, and has a pretty decently short cooldown timer. Now, we get to look at our drip. For this, we have something kind of similar to our veteran ranger armor. which is going to be the GS11 Democracy's Deputy as her armor. And though it's a bit more sheriffy than I would like, the lever pauldrons help it give the similar-ish look on the top part where the duster kind of meets up. But yeah, the GS11 gives you the gunslinger passive, which does help with your senator and being more effective. Yeah, I don't really find myself using the senator too much to make it really be worth that much. I mean, it's decent. The senator is good against like bots and shooting hulks in the head, but like that's the only thing it's good against. Then for our helmet, it's going to be the B08 light gunner, which is also found in the superstore. As it's close enough, it's got the right colors to the ride armor helmet. So if we ever do get armor customization, because I feel like I've talked about that before, definitely if you're able to mess with the colors on the groundbreaker, that will be extremely closer because it has the exact same facial structure. Also, if you can like take off the gas mask filter, I don't know, that probably not. Or like fucking crash the game or something like that. Just so that's for our setup. So now we get to go ahead and look at this is the first time I've ever had actual notes for the front part, so I didn't write the script for these. I'm gonna read it to you like a bedtime story. So for the bots, what I have down is that the anti-material rifle is meant to be a counter against bots. It destroys devastators very easily. It's just one shot to the head. I think it's like one shot to the neck, to the torso, where they have no armor. Same with berserkers. For hulks, it's like 2 shots to the head or in their eyeball to kill them. You're a little weak against factory striders because of that, because factory striders have anti-take 1 armor everywhere on them except for their belly, which you're probably not going to get up to their belly. With this, you will probably die and explode beforehand, so you probably don't want to try that. Senator, obviously, it's the bot gun. It's good against them. I don't think I need to talk about that. Now for your 2 primaries, I'd probably say that the Deadeye is better because the Deadeye has medium pen, is accurate compared to the breaker, and since accuracy is a lot more important on the bot front, I'd say that it's a lot better over there. The Deadeye has pretty good stun against bots, so even if you don't hit him in the head, you usually tend to stun a Devastator just enough to line up the next shot that actually hit him in the head. So the iron sights on it is kind of garbage. I kind of wish that we get better iron sights at some point, or different styles of iron sights. This is the part what I'm trying to say is I want M1 Garand sights, but like not like the ones with comedically large rings. I'm talking about like Rs2, Rs1, or they are just beautiful. Just so beautiful. God bless America. Boone's pretty good to use against bots too, because I mean it's just an autocannon. You know, it's just an autocannon sentry. There's nothing really else I gotta add about Boone. I mean, he's just there. He kills people the exact same way how he is in New Vegas. Anyways, onto the
bastard. Look at him go. Look at him go. Bastard.
anti-patrol rifle is like okay against bugs. It's definitely a lot weaker compared to it on the other 2 fronts, being bots and squids. I would say is typically overkill for most bugs, except for like the really big ones. Though it does really good against Alpha Commanders, surprisingly, as it actually pops their heads off clean off in 1 shot. Which if you're far away enough from them, they'll just bleed out and die. But if not, you can just put down another second shot into them and they'll die. I would say it's pretty good against Bio Spewers too, for the same reason. The standard breaker, although a little weak in my opinion, just due to the fact that, you know, basically all the other semi-automatic shotguns and other shotguns are just kind of better no matter what in any situation. You know, like the incendiary lights stuff on fire, it burns stuff really easily, you know. There's no reason to really bring the original breaker. They probably should make it do a little bit more damage in my opinion. It still does pretty good against killing the smaller bugs, like the really tiny bugs. You know, the whole kind of playstyle with this against bugs is you use your breaker for the small bugs, and then you either switch to the anti-material rifle or the senator depending on how far away they are to kill the bigger bugs. The Deadeye is decent against bugs too, but for how the rest of the loadout is, I would say the breaker is a bit better because it's a lot better at clearing out those chafe enemies, which are very, very prevalent on bug missions. Now, Boone, he is pretty decent. And now we get to go on to...
Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for new
Now for squids, the anti-material rifle is actually kind of underrated. It's definitely weaker than it is on bots, but it does really good at killing elevator overseers if you know how to track. And it's pretty good at killing the normal, you know, on the ground overseers. Flesh beast, on the other hand, it's okay. It's, you know, the anti-material rifle's got kind of that weird fragging, that kind of fragmentation that it has with it, which is pretty decent at popping their heads, but you have to, you know, get around them and waste a good amount of ammo, which obviously the ammo economy on the anti-material rifle is already bad. So having to waste, like, I think it's like 2 to 3 mags actually. It's about 2 to 3 mags to kill a flesh beast. Boone, same thing. He's pretty good at on squid missions. He is a little bit weaker. Probably tend to target voteless rather than the bigger enemies. So he definitely does not get as much use. But that's also, you know, common in the bugs too, but definitely not as much. The breaker is pretty decent against voteless. So I'd say to bring that over the Deadeye because your anti-material rifle does good enough against the elevator overseers and the flesh beasts are kind of annoying. They're actually pretty decent to kill with the shotguns too, because all you gotta do with them is pop their heads. And I feel like I was able to kill flesh beasts easier with the breaker than with the anti-patrol rifle. So that might be kind of a preference kind of thing, who knows. So I would definitely say bring the breaker over the Deadeye when it comes to the Illuminate, as the Deadeye is a little okay against the Illuminate. It's the same thing with the bugs. Your loadout is kind of built around having something that kills elites as your stratagem weapon. Then you probably want to bring a primary, which is a lot, you know, better for the chafe enemies. And that's really it for this episode. I was really only using this as a way to grind for Warbond medals because I have a couple other ideas, which I'm also running out of. This is my call to action. Please give me some ideas. Please.